BBC3, BBC3.
You're most kind to me. Thank you very much. I haven't had a reception like that since my own one-man series in Blackpool. I'm very pleased to be asked to open this swimming pool, which has been one of my projects closest to my own heart. I wasn't originally booked to appear here tonight, and when Lord Snow rang me up this morning and asked me to take his place, my first reaction was to say, "Who are you?" He explained that he was a secretary at the Ministry of Technology, and we had a bit of a laugh about that. That reminds me, incidentally, of a rather amusing story about my old friend and colleague, Frank Cousins. Now, I imagine you'll think it'll be a bit peculiar for me to appear on such a gay and light-hearted program as this. But, you know, I don't have to go on being Prime Minister for a living. I could always go back to being a socialist. But seriously, though, I think all of you working here on Sunday night at the London Hippodrome have a dynamic role to play in the new Britain. Now, as you know, to be perfectly serious, the Department of Economic Affairs last week published its national plan for 1970. And this means that we in the government are faced with two overwhelmingly urgent tasks. First of all, we must think of another pointless project to keep George Brown quiet for the next 11 years. Secondly, we must all see that the targets in the plan are fulfilled. Now, I'll be frank with you. I admit, in the privacy of this television studio, that all is not well within the government. Some of my colleagues have not performed as I expected them to. Even worse, some of them have. But there are better prospects to come. This morning, for example, George Brown told me he had seen the Queen. Well, there it is. Some people see snakes, some people see... George sees the Queen. Now, I'd like to hand you over to somebody who's been one of my closest personal friends for as long as I can remember, Mr. Herbert Robertson. I don't get much time to watch television, of course, but I never miss seeing my old friend Horace on What the Papers Point Out tonight. Before I do, though, I would just like to pay tribute, a special tribute, to all the men behind the scenes, especially George Brown, the man behind some of the most disgraceful scenes. God bless you, and thank you, and over to you, Herbert.
A wonderfully faithful impression. Thank you, Harold Macmillan. And just to prove that what the ditty said at the beginning is true, that it's all been done before, we now produce three of the people who did it before. Mr. Patrick Campbell. Mr. Harvey Orkin. and Mr. Denis Norden. What have they been doing since they were last seen in public? Apart, I mean, from putting a high gloss on the reminiscences that I hope to persuade them to retail.
I have been working like a dog for the last 3 months in the south of France, in Athens, a little bit of yachting around the Greek islands, trying to get bronzed and fit for the rigors of the first dynamic socialist Christmas. I came back bronzed and fit 3 days ago. I have now caught the heaviest cold I have ever had in my life. At a time when the doctors are easing off, the Pakistani ward maids aren't talking to the Indian nurses. Prescription charges have been removed. You've got to queue for hours at the back door of Nellie's in Water Street to get a couple of Purple Hearts. And it's lovely to be back. That's all about that.
A remarkably,
say at the end.
A remarkably unstudied and topical reminiscence. Mr. Hawkins.
Sir, well, I had 2 weeks off this summer, and I do the same thing every summer. I like to catch up on my reading. I like to get to some of the classics that you go over, and I went to Las Vegas, Nevada to do that in the pursuit of my real avocation, which is fiscal suicide. And I broke the American track record for staying up late and losing my money. But after I lost it all, I ran into, I don't know if there are any gamblers around here, I ran into Phil Silvers. He said, "You're a fool." He said, "You don't have to lose all your money. We'll put up $100 each, and if we lose it, that's it, that's that, and we won't borrow any money or write any checks or anything." So we put up a deuce, and we lost
a deuce?
200 fish. And we lost that right away. Then we borrowed money from various friends, and we sold other friends to other friends for more money, and we wrote checks, and we just lost, you know, there isn't that much money, $82 million. And Phil said, "Let's get out of here. We'll get out." I said, "All right, you check out. You go up and pack, and I'll check out." And he went up to pack, and I was checking out the hotel and waiting for him. I went over to the dice table, and I had double Sawsky left. So I
Just say that again. I mean, the dictation speed. A double what?
$20.
Uh-huh.
What's the matter, fella? So I put a fin on the line with a Marine who was shooting, and he threw an ace deuce, which knocked me out, and I put another fiver down, and then Phil came over. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'll be through in a minute. I've only got 10 left." He said, "I'm halvies with you." Well, the Marine went on a big shoot. We got back all of the paper we had written. We got back all the money we had borrowed. We got back the $200, and we were $100 ahead, and we run to the airport, and the plane is taxiing. We stop it. And the baggage goes on the plane. We're going up the steps of the thing, and Phil says, "Wait a minute, I think we're being hasty. Our luck is turned. We ought to go back." So back we went. When the baggage went to California, we lost all our money again. And that's what you call chandelier action. You want to win the chandelier and everything, and what I'm getting at is, can you help me?
The attendants will now move amongst you with translations. Denis Norden, what have you been doing?
Well, it seems to be all very different from Harvey's home life. Just a lot of work. Plenty of green vegetables, good clean living. I think those are the things I missed most. The only sort of communicable things that happened to me since we last assembled was a man who was trying to interest me in car stickers, which said, "Mary Poppins is a junkie." And I did 6 of these programs, and after the 6th one, I got into a taxi, and the taxi driver said, "Your face is familiar." And I said, "It's not familiar, it's just commonplace." And he said, "Yeah, that's it." Roll to the next round.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to improve on that. The BBC made it sound as though they'd got inside Fort Knox when they did that documentary on Eton and had the discussion afterwards with the 3 old Etonians. Well, the people here penetrated an even more formidable educational establishment, and we now present an interview with a successful old boy.
As an old boy of one of Britain's most expensive and exclusive schools, do you think it stood you in good stead in any way?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it sorted me out, you know. I mean, before I went to Borstal, I was confused. I mean, I didn't know whether I was good or bad, but Borstal I found out I was bad.
And when you left, what then?
Yeah, well, come out, I looked around to see what opportunities there were for old Bostalians. See, and that's how I got my present job.
And what job is that?
That's a pay snatch down Tottenham.
Yes, and you feel indebted to the old boy's circuit for getting you this job?
Oh, yeah, what I mean, there are no less than 8 old Bostalians working with me on this present job. And, which I think you'll agree is pretty significant, not a single wicker missed.
Now, do you feel there are other kinds of work for which it would be a positive disadvantage to be an old Bostalian?
Yeah, the bursar of All Souls College, Oxford.
Is that all?
Oh, no, there's the professions, the clergy, the police force. You see, I mean, really, there's only 2 lines open to you if you beat the Borstal. That's a famous writer or criminal. We say I suffer from rotten syntax, so I'll become a criminal.
Now, do you feel that being at Borstal has given you a sort of, a certain veneer?
No, it cured me, that.
A certain self-confidence, perhaps?
Yeah, well, I think, it makes you feel, set apart from society somehow. Well, I mean, if I'm nabbed for this job, I'll be set apart from society for, 12 years at least, won't I?
Yes, I suppose the vital question really is, would you send your son to Borstal?
Yeah, well, he's only just 4, not seen him for 5 years. Yeah, but I don't know whether he can get in. I mean, the requirements are